employees as first responders. I would tell you that on September 23rd, 5 days before the impact from Hurricane Ian, our county employees began working in preparation for the storm's impacts. Every department and every employee in Sarasota County has an active role called Know Your Role for disaster response. Whether they're in planning and development services, the office of the county attorney, public works, utilities, parks, libraries, every department, every employee moves into various roles to support our community. And in that time frame, our employees did a phenomenal job of preparing as we implemented plans that we've learned over the years from not just Hurricane Irma, but COVID and many other things. We implemented all of our plans. We opened up all of our shelters. We used programs that we developed to transport people from various locations to shelters if needed. We opened up medically dependent shelters, and through all of that, all of our employees moved into those various roles to take care of our community. And I would tell you that they did a phenomenal job of working to take care of our community. In the after effects of the storm, those same employees who lived in many of the areas that have been heavily damaged down at Northport, South Venice, Inglewood, they stayed at the helm and did their job despite maybe not being able to talk to their families, wondering how their home was doing, but they stayed on target and continued to take care of our community. And for those efforts, we cannot thank every employee that was here that took care of our community. Along with them, there are so many other partners that have worked with us throughout this event as we are now fully in recovery. We've had partners from faith-based communities, the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, multiple community organizations that are out there that are helping take care of our community and working with us throughout the area. We're working with our partners from FEMA, we're working with the cities, we're working with a number of entities as we move through recovery. You know, when you look at a storm approaching, there's 5 days, you see it coming, you're taking all of your actions, the storm impact occurs, you have your response, and that goes on for several days, but the long road to recovery is where we're at now, and there's a lot that we're doing. Obviously, there is many things that we're working with FEMA and other agencies to take care of our residents, both in the cities and in unincorporated county. And we continue to do that on a daily basis. Matter of fact, just before this meeting, I was in a command and general staff meeting with our recovery partner team that is working through those things day to day. I would like to take a few minutes and just highlight some of the work that's been done since Hurricane Ian approached our community. So first, I'll start off with our 311 contact center and how we connect with our citizens. Over the last 30 days, that contact center has taken over 25,000 calls. And throughout that event, they also, not just our contact team that day-to-day answers those calls, again, employees from many departments came to support that operation. And in that time frame, they also supported the city of Northport with over 3,500 calls taken while their services were down. As a storm approaches and impacts the county, we, at 45 miles an hour, shut down services because it's not safe for the emergency apparatus to be out on the street. Conversely, as the winds die down, we move units out into the street and begin to provide service. By 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, we already had units out on the street after the storm. What we call our tactical first in team, which is made up of law enforcement, fire, public works, utilities, FP&L, and they were going out and opening up roads so we could begin to answer all the calls that were in queue, which at the time was well over 900 calls for emergency response just in the unincorporated county, another 150 law enforcement. And so the team worked throughout the night while it was still dark to start to open up roads so first responders could get in and begin to provide service and take care of our citizens. Our public utilities team had to, because of the barrier islands, isolate water service and utilities to those areas. They were able to get everything restored and services completely back up out to the barrier islands by the morning of October 1st. And they also supported our Inglewood Water District with over 1.5 million gallons of water, potable water per day. Our transit team, I can't speak enough about our transit team during this event. We have a ride system where somebody can park a car at a location and we drive them to a hurricane evacuation center. Throughout this process, they've done over 974 missions to get people to and from evacuation centers. Our public works crew, directly after the storm, we had a number of our intersection lights that were down and traffic signals. And they had 176 traffic signals back online by October 3rd and reinstalled over 900 stop signs in that time. Our solid waste team. When you look at where we're at, and you go back to where we were at with Irma, and there were a lot of things that occurred during Irma across the state, but in this event, our teams were out picking up debris within a couple days after the storm. And to date, we have 1.2 million cubic yards of vegetative debris that have been picked up across the community. That is an amazing number when you think about it. That's like over 200,000 pickup truck bed loads full. It is almost equal to 10 years worth of yard waste that would be picked up normally throughout that same time, throughout 10 years. So a great amount of work has been done there. There's also been a lot of discussion about how we pick up debris. I would tell you that the county has petitioned FEMA specifically to authorize and accelerate the debris collection from within private roadways, HOAs, and manufactured home communities, which are considered commercial communities. Debris is obviously a critical threat to life and safety for us and economic recovery to the community at large, and we continue to connect with local, state, and federal partners to support and lobby for that request for us to pick up within those mobile home communities. Our parks team, within 5 days after the storm, the Parks and Rec and Natural Resources team reopened 37 parks. As of today, they have more than 130 parks open and 75% of the athletic fields are open. And our Legacy Trail is entirely open, and our Turtle Beach Campground is taking reservations and back open. Our libraries team, who supports many of the things that we do throughout this incident, manning shelters, hurricane evacuation centers, helping out with mass care. All the libraries are open. Shannon Staub, with the exception of Elsie Quirk. Shannon Staub Library continues to serve as a disaster recovery center, and that is also, obviously the school is there, the disaster recovery center, and early voting is occurring in the same location. Elsie Quirk Library remains closed right now due to damages, but they're working through that to open up as quickly as possible. We try to help residents quickly return back to normal, and obviously there may be where they need to get permits during that time frame. We expedited the permit process to help our citizens, and to date, the permit center has issued over 600 express permits for storm-related repairs or replacements of roof, electrical service changeouts, air conditioning, plumbing, all of those things that would help a citizen get their home back to normal. We also continue to balance our regular county business with working alongside nonprofits, municipal, local, state, and federal partners to help our community get the resources they need to heal, recover, and return back to normal. I would also like to highlight some of the work by the National Guard and our teams in the state with our NPODs, points of distribution. After the event, we opened up 6 neighborhood points of distribution, providing water, ice, tarps, and meals ready to eat. The American Red Cross has been working with us and assumed shelter operations, working with the Department of Health in Sarasota and FEMA as we continue to help find alternative housing solutions for those displaced families. I talked about the DRC, the Disaster Recovery Center. The work by the team collaboratively between the supervisor of election, the school district, FEMA, our libraries teams in the county was awesome to be able to take that one location and help in the most distressed area of the community, get aid for those citizens that need it, and still provide our other service as well. Operation Blue Roof by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has been an awesome program. Over 1,200 different homes have been supported by that program since it started here. and our faith-based partners who, there are so many, I can't name them all, that have been working throughout the community to help has just been phenomenal. We've also deployed in the midst of what we're dealing with. When you go further south, the damage gets much worse. And we have been supporting operations down in Lee County. We've had teams working at the Lee County EOC. Our Ed McCrane, our Chief of Emergency Management, was a Deputy IC working. He just is coming back today. We have rescues working down there providing service. We have a hazmat team that's been there for over 10 days now. We also have other staff that are working in the EOC to support them as well. And we'll continue to fill those requests to help them as needed. While this has been a major impact to our county, our community is resilient. We are working together, and that recovery process is going to take some time. And we would ask, as I know all of us are working to bring everything back to normal, that obviously it's going to take some time, some patience, and we will get there as one community across the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. You heard Rich talk about Operation Blue Roof. We have resources that are available for our community members, and there are some deadlines that are approaching next week. So Operation Blue Roof, if you like to partake of that program, call our contact center at 311 right now, and they'll tell you about how to fill out an application for that. Also, there's a crisis hotline, which connects our community members with free services such as debris removal, tree removal, and along those lines. Again, that's a free service. Call 311 for more information. One of the things that we're hearing a lot is about, unfortunately, in our time of need, our community's time of need, that there are some individuals that have come into our community and they're trying to take advantage of our community members. So we really want our community members to know that there are still a lot of services that are free and that are open for you to utilize. And for more information about those services, to please call 311 if you're inside the county. If you're outside the county, 941-861-5000. Also, as we've been sharing with our media partners, we are working in partnership with all of our public information officers across our county, and we've gotten some updates from them as well that I'd like to share with you right now. From the city of Northport, they would like for our community to know that Price Boulevard is now open between Toledo Blade and Sulphur Boulevards. The crossings near Race Street remain closed at this time. However, crews continue to work to complete the repairs, and they hope to have the roadway fully opened in the very near future. Storm debris pickup continues in Northport with more than 750,000 cubic yards of vegetative storm debris collected so far, and C&D debris collection is expected to begin soon. For the city of Venice, Venice is almost done with their first pass of debris collection citywide, and they have collected over 86,500 cubic yards of vegetative storm debris. And also, Venice is also working to get the athletic field safely reopened at Wellfield and the Chuck Reeder parks. From our supervisor of elections, they would like for our community members to just a friendly reminder to make a plan to vote, whether it's by mail, the absentee, or early in person, or on election day. Please do not wait. Make your plan and vote. The supervisor elections are working to make the election process as normal as possible in Sarasota County, and there are very few changes in the process because of the results of Hurricane Ian, and anyone with questions may call the elections office at 941-861-8618 or visit sarasotavotes.org. sarasotavotes.gov. So we ask our community members to continue to call 311-861-5000. If you're inside the county, 311. If you're outside, 861-5000 for more information. Continue to follow us on social media, SRQ County Gov, and continue to go to the county website for more information, and that's scgov.net. At this time, we'll take any questions.
We've been doing this a long time. Have we learned anything new to change or do better next time? Even though it seems like we're doing a really good job, do we know, are we changing anything, doing something better?
So I think one of the things that, from my perspective is, as you're going through an activation, you're constantly taking notes. You're looking at opportunities. For our team, we're always looking at opportunities for our community to provide us with feedback about communication. So I'll provide one on communications. Rich, you might have some additionals. One of the things that our community, we learned a lot during COVID, Tim, was about Facebook and social media and how our community could ask us questions and providing more direct responses. So we're really engaging on that forums, while in addition still maintaining the importance of traditional media. We're also looking for ways that the community would like for us to engage them. We got some feedback about the Ring app and that feature. One of our community members asked us why we weren't on that platform. So we pivoted immediately that day, and that's now a new platform that we're on. So I think we're still in the process of evaluating what we did and looking at those lessons learned. And Rich, I'll open it up if you have any additional.
That's a great question. Anytime we activate, we take a look at what could we do that would be better or enhance the next time. And obviously we did after Irma and identified a number of things that we implemented for this event. The pickup locations to move to shelters, opening up all of our shelters at the same time, all of them being pet friendly. All of the enhancements that we identified during Irma, we implemented during this storm, and things worked very well. Are we going to go back and take a look at that? Yes, just yesterday I had a meeting with our team on the beginning of an after action to I'll go along with Jamie. We tell everybody to take notes during, so that if there's things that you identify, tweaks in our process that would make things easier for the next time, would we look at doing? So the teams are already taking that information, and we'll be developing that into an after action to do exactly that. Take a look at where we can tweak processes to make it better for the next time. So we're actively beginning that process right now.
Can, other than just processes, what about like resiliency of like infrastructure or anything else like that that maybe that we're looking at that we need to beef up? Or
We're always looking at resiliency. Matter of fact, yesterday, the cities of Venice, Northport, and unincorporated county met with the chief resiliency officer for the state. We took them around to various locations to look at various programs or things that we could look at that would help improve resiliency for the next storm. So yes, we are actively looking at that as well.
can you give us a hint maybe, and where we could go take pictures of or something like
Well,
that?
we're always out there looking at where those types of things might be. Obviously, you know, we're working on a number of programs that would help improve infrastructure resiliency. That's just part of normally what we do. But obviously with the storm's impact, we can be looking at, okay, where were the specific areas, and they're doing that right now.
The timeline of where you guys are at, 30 days, you've done a lot, the county's done a lot. Was this what you were anticipating? Did it happen quicker than you thought? Was this kind of what you thought would happen with this size of storm? And then how long until the county, and from the county's view, would be whole? You know, everything's taken care of from this storm.
So the recovery process, you know, there's the impact, and the impact is like this, and then recovery is this. It takes a while, and as a region, we were severely impacted, and so it's going to take a while to get things back to normal. You know, and obviously as you go further south, it's going to take longer than here. From a timeline perspective, I would tell you that I am extremely humbled by the amount of work done by this team. We quickly pivoted from response into recovery. We had trucks out on the road picking up debris within the week of the storm, and have picked over 1.2 million cubic yards of debris. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal, the amount of work that's gone on. We immediately, so the storm hit on the 28th. By that following Monday, we had a resolution in front of our board about pickup on private roads, and had a letter to FEMA requesting that pickup. Now, the way FEMA works, we're able to begin picking up while that process goes through for private roadways. And then we immediately identified after that the mobile home parks, which are commercial, which we then implemented and sent another letter requesting the mobile home parks down in the south part of the county. The amount of work and how fast we were moving, I would tell you anecdotally, our FEMA partners came in and said we were days ahead of where we should be. So the team has done a phenomenal job on that. I will tell you, there has to be some patience and understanding that picking up over 2 million cubic yards of debris between vegetative, commercial, and mixed debris, or C&D, excuse me, construction debris, it's going to take a little bit of time. And so the team is phenomenally working every day, identifying zones, beginning to pick up, doing the things that they need to do, and they will continue to do that to get us back to a normal.
I understand situations can be very fluid when you're dealing with emergency response and things like that, but I want to understand, what are some of the strategies that you went into this process with that didn't work? Like you going back 30 days now and saying, you know what, we thought that this plan was a solid plan, but in hindsight, it didn't work, or it hasn't worked. For example, you look at the other counties where they had a process of initiating evacuations that didn't happen. So just reflecting back on Sarasota, what were some of those things that we didn't point out?
Well, that's a really good question. So I'm not going to speak to other counties and their decision process, but I will tell you that in Sarasota County, we have a committed team of directors, county administration, that are actively engaged from the moment we say we're in a potential zone or threat. So 120 hours pre-landfall, our teams across the entire county are beginning to take actions. We have a our department disaster preparedness plan, the DDPP, that each department at those specific hours are taking action all the way down to landfall. Our teams implemented those plans and we're working through it as the storm approached. I look at they call it the cone of uncertainty. That cone, if you look at it, is a very wide area, and landfall of the eye wall can happen anywhere in that zone. 36 hours out, 24 hours out, we really thought that the bad side of the storm was going to be in our county, probably mid-county, and we were preparing for those actions. We announced our evacuations on Monday. Starting Tuesday, we opened up all of our shelters at the same time. So to answer your question, I think our plans worked. How we move people, are we going to go back and take a look at that? Could we tweak some things to make it a little bit better? Could we do some things that would make the process a little bit better? But as far as the plan on moving people, on getting people out, our communications team on getting the word out, our movement on when we made decisions, our work with partners, the school district, I would tell you I think we did a good job. I don't think there's anything that I would go back and say, I don't want to do that again. But I do think we'll go back and say, okay, if we do this, if we make these changes, would this work a little bit better? That's where we're going to spend our time, because I think overarchingly, the decision process and the timing that we made decisions on were effective and did the things we need to do to take care of our citizens.
Do we have any statistics on like wind speed and how much rainfall that we got during the storm?
There's a lot.
Highest wind?
There's a lot of different things out there. It's hard to pinpoint down afterwards. Some of the meters broke at certain points. I would say we had strong hurricane force winds, especially down the south end of our county. The eye wall came right through that area. Obviously, the worst for storm surge was on the dirty side of the storm, which was further south of us, so that helped us along our beaches. But when you look at you can go out and see where the damage is. When you're in Inglewood and Northport and South Venice, you can see that that's where the majority of the damage from the wind was. But, I can't give you the exact. I think the National Weather Service could probably do a better job of giving you what they feel that the winds were, but easily 100 miles an hour or more, with gusts probably higher through some of those bands coming through.
And rainfall?
Rainfall was historic. During one point in the event, while we were on lockdown, I received a call from the National Weather Service letting us know that in one part of South County, South Venice area, there were over 18 inches of rain that had fallen within an hour locally. So the rainfall was historic for the entire area. And then when you look out past Sarasota County, I mean the entire state, central part of the state, the roads that were closed because of flooding, the rainfall was historic.
Thanks, Jessica.
Yes, you mentioned an inordinate amount of vegetative debris pickup. Will disposing of that or storing that overwhelm county capacity, or are there plans in place to kind of deal with this, as you said, 10 years of vegetative pickup within the span of a month?
Are you okay with, you want to?
Hi, I'm Wendy Crisp from Sarasota County Solid Waste Department. So when the vegetative debris is taken to a debris management site, they reduce the volume so it's mulched down. Our debris contractors will actually be taking that out and repurposing it for agricultural use and compost and things. So it will not impact the capacity at our Central County landfill.
Yes, I wanted to ask, we've had a lot of questions from folks about, hearing back from FEMA, who still need a lot of assistance, the ones who have had the worst damage to their homes. Is there any other resources they can use going through the county to help kind of speed up that process or get more clarity on when they can get feedback or any other types of assistance? Because a lot of folks say they're sort of in like this limbo state even a month later.
Sure.
So when it comes to the questions directly to FEMA, we continue to advise our community members to reach out to FEMA. We also would advise our community members to go to the Disaster Recovery Center that's located at Shannon Staub. There's a lot of resources that are available there that they can have those conversations in person, and that's a little bit easier than sometimes having those conversations over the phone or online. So that would be their best recommendation for them.
Thank you.
Last question?
Have you had mentioned maybe some people coming in the county not doing good things with, contractors or what have you. Do you have reports of that? Can you quantify that number, or is that?
We have gotten a few reports down in our Inglewood community from the nonprofits that are down there in the faith-based organizations that there are some individuals that are posing as those organizations, going as far as to wear the same colored t-shirt, going onto people's property and promising to help them clean up if they give us an upfront cash donation, and that they'll be back tomorrow, and of course they never show up. So we just continue to remind our community members that if someone shows up on your property, you can ask for identification. If anyone's asking for you for money up front, that's an immediate sign that there's an issue. Please report them, and to connect with our 311 team. They'll connect you with the free services that are available. There's plenty out there to help our community. All right, we'd like to thank you so much for watching, and also thanks to our media partners in helping us communicate to our community. Thank you.